What's going on? Hey everybody. It is your ever grumpy, grumpy neighborhood old soldier coming from you on this wet and chilly day in Robeson County, North Carolina. Anyways, for you, Brother Kyle. Hope everybody's doing well and blessed this day. As for me, I don't know. I'll let you know at a later time. But, right quick, I want to get this out this morning. In North Carolina today, they're going to be determining at state level, I'm presuming with state lawmakers, to mandate the issue of the state concealed carry training handbook to those people that wish to obtain a concealed carry permit. I'm a little perturbed at one of our local news stations this morning that was covering the story, and here's why. The proposal does not state people that are wanting to obtain their permit have to buy the book. The proposal states that instructors will provide the book. Yes, I get it. It's nitnoid because it does translate to the student having to buy the book from the instructor. But the reality is the state is wanting to mandate that we, the instructors, provide them a book. Our counter argument is, well, if you want us to provide a book, then you should make it available online in a PDF format and a link that can be given to the student so that they may purchase and download it. That's one argument. The other argument is, well, if you're going to do that, then you need to lower the cost of the book, which the state did on their last edition. They reduced the cost by like $4. Really about $3.50. My last batch of books, I forget how much they cost me. But it's for my son and I and our business. We decided when we got into it, we would provide the book. Why? Because when we took our concealed carry class, so many years ago, the instructor we had provided us the book. And it makes perfect sense to me because there's a lot of information in that book that you cannot expect anybody to remember verbatim in an 8-hour course of instruction. I'm sorry. Even the most meticulous note taker is not going to get all the information that they need. And then all of a sudden you have a doubt in your mind and you go out the door and you carry your firearm somewhere where you ain't supposed to. Or you engage in a situation that you may not have a legal right to. The book gives someone the opportunity to go back, review, and refresh. Now, mind you, it is up to the individual citizen to keep up with updates that come after they've taken their course. Since my son and I started teaching, they've had one update to the book. We've gone from version 7 to version 8. I will say this, whoever formatted the book for North Carolina, I know 8th graders that can format a book a whole lot better. I will not argue that. The formatting of the North Carolina Red Book, as they call it, is atrocious. And version 8 with the newest updates is worse than version 7. Now, it's not necessarily the people who format the book's fault entirely, but some of the verbiage in there comes from the state legislature. Well, we all know how politicians write everything in clear, plain English, right? Right. Okay. The point I'm getting at is it's another jab at control, I believe. Because earlier over the summer, the North Carolina Criminal Justice Board was proposing that 30 days before class, we send up a class outline and the date we're having the class. And then 10 days after, a post-class report. And they sent out this tentative attendance rosters they wanted us all to have filled out and keep on file. That all got shot down. And why? Because it impacted us smaller businesses that would go after, for going, we go after for English. It impacted smaller businesses because we don't have that ability per se, if you will. And what I mean by that, many of us are out prospecting for clientele and students every day. And you get enough people interested, then you schedule a class. Yes, I've got dates on my calendar that are for me to have a class, but if I don't go and find people, I have nobody take that class. But here's the thing, I also have people that what I have scheduled doesn't work, so I have to schedule off-schedule classes if you gather my meaning. In other words, Jane Doe and John Smith, they can't take it on this weekend, but they can do a Monday and a Wednesday. Okay, I can do that this week, no problem. And we may have agreed on it on Monday night. Well, that didn't meet the 30-day threshold set by the states, but it's unfair to people that's how they drum up business. For some of the bigger operations in the North Carolina area, like the big places in Raleigh and other places that have these built-in indoor ranges, that have their own instructors or instructors that have contracted with them to use their range, that kind of thing. They have a very set schedule, but they also have a captured audience, if you will, in the sense that they get a large volume of people in their store, It's primarily gun stores that have indoor ranges. I'm not knocking that. They've got to make a living. But for them, that's more feasible. Still not fair to them either, though, because that's more requirements to be piled on top of everything else you're trying to do to run that business. Do I maintain records of my students and clientele? Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's for my own business records. One, God forbid, somebody gets into an incident and they come back and say they weren't trained. I said, well, look, they took the class, they passed the test, they passed the firing requirements, they were issued a book. What else do you want me to tell you? Knock on wood, hasn't happened. Pray to God it never does. But to have it for, just so the state can come down and see who took a concealed carry permit class? Nah. They ought to know once their certificate's turned in to the county sheriff and the permit's filed and issued. I don't know if the state can access the county's databases on that. I don't even know how the states or the counties track it when you turn in your certificate. Don't care. Person's eligible to get a concealed carry permit, I'm going to give them the class. They pass class, I'm going to issue them a certificate. And it's incumbent upon them to take all the other necessary documentation to include the certificate to their local county sheriff to make application for that permit. North Carolina is a shall issue state. Then it's up to that individual sheriff to make the final determination whether they're going to issue the permit. Really, the only way they can deny them a permit is if they find something that either they're mentally unfit or there's a criminal record there that exists. At one time, I heard there was an argument that they wanted us instructors to run background checks. Again, it was rumors. I don't know how true it was or not. Not my place. Not my place. And it's not like someone's going to go and apply for a permit and then all of a sudden, they take their fingerprints and, they give them a false name and everything else. Once those fingerprints go through the system, if they've got a record, it's going to pop up anyway. So why should you have me running it? Because clearly states when in part of the class, legal requirements to get a permit, got to be 21. A U.S. citizen or legally allowed to reside here and have the legal right to obtain and purchase a firearm. Not to mention a whole host of things that you can't have on your record in order to apply. I would bore you with the details, but we would all go to sleep, and I'm driving, and I don't want to fall asleep at the wheel. So today they're supposed to make that decision, but my whole thing is how the news once again has misrepresented the story. Part of it, though, is a group here in North Carolina called the North Carolina Concealed Carry Firearms Coalition, because based on how they've presented the facts to the media, they may have screwed it all up. So I don't know. Either way it goes, the proposal from the state was that instructors, they want to mandate instructors provide the North Carolina Concealed Carry Training Handbook to the students. Yes, I know, translates to, because now instructors have to increase their cost, but part of that cost is to cover the cost of them issuing a book to their student clientele. So, because people are now going to ask, where do I buy the book at? Okay. North Carolina Criminal Justice Academy bookstore. I guess, but see, and I don't know if they'll send one book out. I think I have to go back and look at their bookstore requirements. I can't remember if they had a minimum order or not. Maybe people can order their book online and have it shipped directly to them. I don't know. But if you're giving a class tomorrow and the person ain't got their book, there's no way they're going to get it unless they drive to one of the 2 locations in North Carolina and go into the bookstore and make a purchase on site. If I live down here in Robeson County, I got to drive an hour and a half one way to get to the bookstore. I'm not driving that far to get one book, I tell you. My personal thing, they need to make it in a PDF format. People can go online, order it, download it. Or give the instructors a CD they can make available to their students. But, then the state wouldn't garner any money off of that. See, that's the other thing, too, is instructors. We're required, one, we have to pay our renewal fee once a year, which is $50. And if you're out of certificates, you have to submit for your certificates. They're $2 and something cents a pop. And you got to order them in a minimum batch of 25. I just ordered 50, so that was $100 on top of my $50 renewal. Now I've heard today there's a 2 to 3 week delay on the new certificates coming out. I got a class coming up, not this weekend, but the following weekend. And I've got about 10 students. I've got 7 certificates left. Now, mind you, my son's got a whole batch full. But let's say for some reason he's not available to teach that weekend. I can't sign his certificates. He can't sign mine. We got to do better, state of North Carolina, on this. But anyway, folks, I'm gonna get off here. Y'all stay safe, stay vigilant, keep your eyes open. Don't take any wood nickels for your life.